about 11. And I was right down the road from where the accident happened.
From the family home, Bill's daughter remembers seeing emergency vehicles racing to the accident scene.
And I saw the ambulances, but I didn't know at the time that it was my dad. I didn't find out till the next day.
Thrown 20 feet from the car with his back broken, Bill was flown to a hospital in Fort Wayne, Indiana, in critical condition.
I was unconscious after the accident, but I lost an entire week. I don't remember anything for a week.
Doctors used the standard surgical approach to repair Bill's broken back. Vertebrae were fused and rods were inserted on both sides of his spine. His back would mend, but the damage to his spinal cord was irreversible.
When I went in and saw him there in the bed, I knew it was pretty bad, and I don't know, it's just hard to see him like that because I'd always seen him, you know, strong person, never down, you know, never hurt. So it was pretty tough.
With Bill still unconscious, his mother and children were the first to learn the terrible news about his fate.
Well, I just couldn't believe it had happened to us, but we had to face it. There's no other way out, you know. The doctors just said that he was going to be in a wheelchair the rest of his life, and so we just had to cope with it. It was very hard.
Bill would drift in and out of consciousness for a week before finally regaining his senses to the point where doctors could break the devastating news.
When I first started out, you know, they said, you're paralyzed for life.
Bill had to face the fact that there was nothing medical science could do for him. It was a reality that hit hard.
You have to depend on somebody for everything. You can't even dress yourself anymore. You can't even go to the bathroom by yourself anymore. It's just, to try to find the words to explain that to someone that's never experienced it, I don't think I can.
I remember when we first brought him home and he was in the wheelchair, I didn't know how to act. It was different. It was hard. When he first got home, he was really depressed and he just wasn't the same old dad.
Well, you know, I felt like less of a man, and you know, I lost that. You know, I guess I was worried about different things, and I focused on things differently than I did prior to my accident.
In the months following his accident, Bill would come to realize just how much he had lost and would begin the painful struggle of moving on.
Like myself, I went through the denial. Then you kind of go through when I first got out, kind of like the pity, why me? And then you get angry at everything, and which I did. And that was kind of the phases I went through. And then I moved on from there. Said, okay, I took a long look at myself, and you got to go on with life.
He had no way of knowing it at the time, but while he was putting together the pieces of his shattered life, on the opposite side of the country, a doctor had a dream that could have a profound impact on Bill Dotson and anyone with a spinal cord injury.
See if you can get those knees back hold up. We've always envisioned that we were going to attempt to restore walking in the spinal cord injured that's wheelchair dependent.
Dr. Richard Herman has dedicated his career to attempting to solve one of medical science's greatest mysteries. What can be done to a damaged spinal cord that would allow a paralyzed person to walk again? Dr. Herman began to look to modern technology for the key to unlock the mystery of spinal cord injury. He discovered an intriguing possibility in the development of implantable electrodes used to treat a variety of neurological disorders. This new technology was showing promising results in treating everything from tremors to severe back pain. But it was the obscure research projects using these stimulators to help animals with damaged spinal cords regain the ability to walk that particularly intrigued Dr. Herman. Could these small electrical devices hold the promise of solving one of medicine's greatest mysteries and help make people like Bill Dotson whole again? For the next several years, Dr. Herman explored the potential of this new technology, while Bill Dotson did the best he could to get on with his life. He stayed in his home state of Indiana for 6 years after his accident, but then found himself at a crossroads. By the spring of 1998, he felt it was time to make a fresh start. As Bill thought about where he might want to begin his new life, it was almost as though his late father was looking down on him and guiding his decision.
When I was a child, I spent a summer with my father in New Mexico. I loved the Southwest. And through my accident, I have steel rods in my back. And Indiana gets some very severe winters. And I had a lot of problem when the weather got severe with my lower extremities becoming rigid and being able to get around. And you can imagine what it's like to try to maneuver around in snow in a wheelchair.
Of all the places in the country Bill could have chosen to relocate, destiny led him to Phoenix, Arizona, the same city where Dr. Richard Herman would soon be seeking volunteers for a new FDA clinical study. The coincidence of it all was nearly miraculous. For the first time in almost a decade, fate was smiling on Bill Dotson, and medical science was moving closer to unlocking the secret to helping the paralyzed walk again.
Oh yeah, that's something I want to regain. I'll never forget that. It's the biggest thing in my life. I want it back more than anything.